Hello and welcome TD Superheroes. My name is Alejandro Perez. I am your sidekick. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to create the IK controls and the constraints that we need for that so that we have the IK controls. We're just focusing on the arms and the legs in this video. If you guys want to see any of the previous videos, let me put up a link in the iCard up there for you guys. And let's get started with the tutorial. Okay, so we are going to create the IK skeleton, and we need to continue on with the script that we have here for create control rig. And I'm gonna go down here and let's run this really quick. So I have the skeleton done. I have the controls for the FK skeleton, and then I need to create the IK. So if we hide both of these, visibility off, we'll see that we have 4 or 5 different skeletons. And what we're going to focus on this video is creating the IK for these 4 elements, the arms and the legs. Okay, let's take a look at doing that. So down here, let's start off with IK handle. There we go. IK handle. And if we look at the command documentation, we're going to need the end effector, and we're going to need, I want end effector, this flag. And then there is the starting joint, which is SJ. So that's what you're going to need to create it, because if we were to do it by hand manually, we went to rigging, skeleton, IK handle, create IK handle. We'd start off over here, which is our starting joint, and then our end effector would be at that point down there. So if we were to move this, you can see the type of movement that we have right now. Okay, so we're going to say end effector equals, and it's going to be the ankle joint here. So let's copy that name. And then the starting joint is going to be equal to this. So let's copy that and paste it here. So we got the starting joint right here, the end joint there, and then we can copy this over again. And now we should have both of the IKs for the legs done. Oh, but I didn't adjust it to be right side. So I have 2 IKs, but they're on the same leg. So this has to be for the right. While we are here, let us also add a name. So name equals L underscore leg underscore IK. And then let's add that onto the next line also, but for the right side. So we just need to change the L to an R. And then let's try it again. There we go. Now we have the IK handles for each, which is great. Okay, now let's copy both of these. And we're going to switch this out for the wrist and the shoulder. And then this is going to be for the arm. So we're going to say arm, arm. There we go. Now we have all 4 of the controls for the IK handles. That is great. Oops, I don't need to save the scene, I just need to save the script. Okay, so we have some IK handles. Then up here we did have a 0 group, and then we also have the align tool. So we're going to use both of those again like we did in the previous video to create a control and then align it to each one of those. So we're going to say mc.circle, and then let's give it a name, equals L underscore leg underscore CTRL, and this should actually be IK, so we got to add an underscore IK. And then our normal direction is going to be into X, so we have to put this in parentheses, 1, 0, 0, close parentheses, and then close parentheses for the circle script. Okay, so if we create this, we have a syntax error because I'm missing a comma. There we go. Okay, we have that circle here. Now let's repeat this so that we have them all for right now. So this is going to be our leg, and then we're going to have the arms, so we have to switch one of them to be an R. There we go. So we have left and right arms and legs. We should have a control for each one of them, so we can see that they are listed there. Now we need to run our 0 group first. So I'm gonna copy that, paste it here, but I don't need it to be defined. I just need to call the function, and means I don't need the colon at the end. And then the control name, it's not commas, but single quotes. There we go. Then let's copy this, and it's going to repeat it again, this time for right. Then we can copy both of these and paste it here. We're going to have arm. There we go. So we have the 0 and offset groups for each one of the controls. That is great. And we can say L leg 0 is equal to that. So that way we can have it, because our 0 group returns a value for the 0 group itself. So if we go over here, like I said, we can do the left leg. Then we can make this for the right side. Then we can say L arm 0 is equal to, and R arm 0 is equal to. Okay, now we have all those variables. Now what we can do is go to the align tool so that we're aligning it to the appropriate item. So let's copy this. I'm going to paste it here. So we need aligned and the target. So let's try first with the targets being the controls here. So we can do the controls or the actual joint, which will be a little bit more kind of oriented the way your joints are. So this one right here is actually oriented kind of the same way that the IK handle would be, but reversed. So I think I am going to, let's see, the ankle here. This one's pointed in a weird direction, whereas if we had the control here, it's aimed in the right direction. So that means that maybe these circles are built in the wrong direction. We might want to actually go into Z, but we'll check this out right now. So we're gonna do aligned. Let's do L's leg 0, and then the target is going to be the left leg. Then let's copy this, and then we're gonna switch it over to be R and R. Copy both of these, paste them here, and then this is going to be for the arm. And then let's adjust that on here as well. Okay, so if we create the skeleton and we do all of these things, we did get an error. Oh, it's saying that it's not defined because all of these should be strings. So we need to make sure that we have them all as strings. So let me make sure I put all the quotes in here. And quote. Okay, let's try that now. We did get an error. L leg 0. L leg 0. Oh, because that one is a variable. It's only the second half that isn't a variable. Okay, so that's the way it should look like. There we go. So the arms are lined up okay in the direction that they are at right now. And then the legs here are not, so let's adjust those on when we create the circles. So the legs over here, I'm going to aim them on the Z instead of the X. And let's try that. So we create the proxy rig, create the skeleton, create the control rig. Okay, so it's not the Z that we want, we actually want the Y. So that's easy enough to fix. We have that, and let's test it again. That's why we test early and test often, so that way we make sure we're getting what we want. Okay, now we need to do a point constraint. So that would be target object to be constrained, and then we're going to go ahead and make that a point constraint. So if we look at constraints, we can do point and add. What you'll see is that now, if you move that control, it will move along with it. So, MC dot point constraint, and then we're going to point constraint. Let's look at how we have to word it with the command documentation. We just put the target and then the object to be constrained. So the target are going to be these controls. So do something like L underscore leg underscore IK underscore CTRL. And then we need a second one for the object to be constrained, which will be our L leg IK. Okay, then we can repeat this for the right side. So we just need to replace these with R's. R, there we go. And then let's copy both of these, paste them here, and then this is going to switch over to be arm instead of leg. And let's try this. Create proxy rig, create skeleton from proxy rig, create rig controls. Now, oops, do I want to save it? Yes, because I didn't mean to close it. There we go. But we can test this out now. We should be able to move the IK, which is great for all of these controls. All right. Now let's do a little bit of organization in this outliner here. So we have the controls here, and we want to make sure that they are grouped in the controls here. So let's go over here and say mc.parent. And we're going to parent L leg 0, and we're going to parent it into CTRLS. And that should be in quotes because it's a string. Let's copy this and then put it here, but it's going to be R. Then here for the left arm, and then for the right arm, run this here, and we should see that those are now organized here. That is great. And then we have these IKs. They do have constraints and things in there. So what we're going to do is group those IKs. So we're going to say mc.group, and then we are going to get the left leg, the right leg, the left arm, and the right arm. Okay, and then we can give this group a name. So name equals, let's call it extras, and close parentheses, and let's test this out. There we go. And then let's turn the visibility off on this group. So mc.set, and we're going to say extras .v, comma 0. And then we're going to create the proxy rig, create the skeleton from rig, create control rig. That is all good. And then let's just clear the selection. We have a clear selection over here, and it was good for us when we were starting it, but I don't think we need anything there. So we can just do mc.select CL equals true. There we go. So we have that all created. Everything is deselected when we end off, so that way when we continue on in future videos, we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so that's how we set up the IK controls for our character rig using this script. There are a few more things that we're going to need to do from here. We need to make sure we have the pole vector constraints and things like that, and then be able to connect them to the IK and FK switch. So keep an eye out for that. But while you're waiting, if I haven't published that video out yet, here is a video that the YouTube algorithm decided was perfect for you, so check that out.